Okay. Looks like he's ready for you.
Farlane prospered under the
So
rule of King
I am.
Cole the
You can still
Just.
hear me, right?
But it was a prosperity that ended on the night of the seventh moon when Farlane's capital, Sylvan, was unexpectedly invaded by a horde of savage monsters. Battered and confused from the surprise attack, the soldiers of Farlane were unable to prevent the monsters from entering the castle walls. Despite the seemingly hopeless situation, Farlane prevailed.
Okay, I'm being told that I'm live. Hello, everybody. So this game is Dragon Slayer: The Legend of Heroes, a game chiefly known for its voice acting. Okay, I'm being told that I'm live. Hello, everybody. That's also just a really so this game is Dragon Slayer: The Legend of Heroes, a game chiefly known for its voice acting, which we will see is quite something. It's also just a really fun run. It's really cool, and I'll kind of look over my shoulder at the stream on my other computer to make sure the video is caught up. Okay, it seems all right. There's two of me. Oh no. Oh, because it's going through Discord and my stream probably. They'll fix it. We'll give it a second. So we will have, hopefully the audio is fixed. Is that ready to go? Anything? Okay, good. So let's go ahead and get started. So in addition to being a game that's mainly known for its sort of cheesy voice acting, it's a really fast-paced little romp. I love this speedrun. It's really fun. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get rolling. I'm going to start from the continue menu because that skips the opening movie. So we'll get started in 3, 2, 1, go.
A fine morning to you, my lord.
Good morning, Elias.
Ah, my dear Prince Logan. I understand from the gate guards that you're still indulging in slime bashing. I hardly think that such a childish pastime befits one who is destined to inherit the throne in just 2 more months. As I've said time and time again, the future is shaped by knowledge. I'm sure you'll agree that your time would be better spent in study rather than chasing those ghastly green jelly globs. Now, if you'll pardon me for a moment, I'll go and get my books so that we can commence with your studies.
All right. So we immediately see the sort of crazy Irish accent. That's just the first of many sort of insane voice acting clips that we have in store for us. The first part of the run is actually very heavy on the voice, so I'll not be talking a whole lot as we get a lot of the story. And then we'll talk a little more about mechanics and so forth. As you can see, and some people were talking about in chat as we were getting started, this game is Dragon Slayer: The Legend of Heroes. It's the first game that had the Legend of Heroes subtitle by Falcom. Eventually, Trails in the Sky, Trails of Cold Steel, that series. I got to shut up now because I got another voice cutscene. We'll talk more about that in a second.
Prince Logan, wake up!
We're under attack, my lord! Monsters everywhere! There's not a moment to lose! Please arm yourself and follow me! This way, my lord, through the secret passage.
Wait, what about you?
We're right behind you, my lord. Now hurry! There's no time to waste!
What's going on, Elias? Open the door.
I'm afraid we're a bit outnumbered, my lord. Though it's been some time since I've lifted a sword, I'm sure I can hold off a few of the beasties while you make good your escape.
Let me help.
You can, my lord, by not wasting another minute arguing with me. Go to Castle Sylvan. Send back reinforcements. We'll hold out until they arrive. Now go!
I'll be back, Elias. I'll be back.
Okay, so the backstory is that Logan here was exiled to the town of Exile when his father, the king, was killed by monsters 10 years ago. And right the day before he was supposed to take over the throne, the same thing happens again. So we're supposed to rush through this cave and get to the next town, where we'll get a little more story. We have overpowered equipment here because of the story, so we have a little bit of an easy time. And go out of my way to take an extra fight as well. At the start of the game, you might have seen me go into the options menu. One of the things I set was to put the point distribution for your stat growth on manual so that I can customize my stats as I level up. That's super important for the whole run. Right now you see I'm putting my points into strength. We'll talk more about that in a little while, what the stats do and why I have the build here. I have a really specific stat build for the early game, and even really most of the game the whole way, but especially the first chapter, because of the mini-boss of the first chapter who's sort of terrifying. We're going to lose our overpowered gear right now, so, you know.
My Lord Drax, I bring you Prince Logan.
Ah, my dear Prince, welcome to Castle Sylvan.
Drax, what's the meaning of this?
I'm glad we were able to catch you before you wandered around the city. After all, you are one of the dearly departed.
Dearly departed.
Departed, expired, passed away, take your pick. The point is you were supposed to have perished when the monsters attacked Exile. At least that's what I've got the kingdom believing. What's more, since you're no longer with us, I've humbly offered to sacrifice my time and accept the crown in your place. Aside from the inconvenient fact that you're still alive, a situation that I will soon remedy, all goes according to plan. At least your father, the late King Corwin, had the sense to stay deceased when I arranged the last monster attack 10 years ago. Of course, it probably helped that I did the job myself, rather than leaving things in the hands of those clumsy monsters. Oh well, please understand that it's nothing personal, but I would like to take you out of the picture once and for all. Unfortunately, securing my position as sovereign involves marriage with your mother, the lovely Queen Sylvia. To date, she hasn't agreed to my proposal, but if I throw your life into the deal, I'm sure she'll find me to be a worthy husband. So, for now, I offer you a pleasant night in our rat-infested dungeons. Take him away.
So I hope everybody got the impression that Drax is the bad guy. It's kind of subtle.
Prince Logan, praise the Seeker you're still alive.
And who might you be?
Ethan, my lord, I'm a friend. I've come to free you.
Just lead me to Drax, and I'll put an end to his evil designs once and for all.
Out of the question, dear prince. He's too well guarded. Your first priority is to get out of here in one piece. Live to fight another day. Now follow me.
Alright, so we get busted out of prison by Ethan. And now we have a little segment of the run that is really the only part of the run where there's any grinding. Other than this, it's a pretty fast-paced run with not much to slow us down. But the storyline here is because we want to sort of overthrow Drax, we need to bust open this mining town and set free all of the enslaved miners. And to do that, we have to beat the commander. And the game will not let us fight the commander until we are level 8 on Logan. So we have to grind Logan to level 8 in the near future. That's our next immediate goal. Before I do that, I gotta get into town here and trigger some cutscenes if these monsters will let me. Mike, you missed a couple, but not a whole lot. Koala Faces is pointing out something I love about this game, which is that every monster group has this sort of overdramatic intro splash for its group label. It's really fun to watch throughout the whole run. I'm going to take an optional voice acting cutscene here, because is it really optional? No, it's not. We got to take it.
Ethan, old buddy, I see you managed to spring the prince from the royal pigsty.
Who's this overdressed fellow?
Marcus, my lord. A good-for-nothing. Ignore him and he might go away.
I
I heard that. Listen, Your Highness, I'm sure you need all the help you can get, and I'm willing to give you a hand. But me being a level 7 spellcaster, I got my pride. I can't serve under somebody who's any less than level 6, you know what I mean? Anyway, I'll see you around.
Marcus is my favorite character in the game. He's great. Yeah, I figured people would want to hear that cutscene. All right, we're going to do a little equipment shuffling here. All right, now we are prepared to grind. So you might have seen I unequipped Ethan's armor. That's because we only care about Logan's level and you split experience, so I really want Ethan to be dead. There's a problem with that plan, however, which is that the game has quality of life features, which means that when you, for example, if you game over in a combat, it just gives you the option to retry, which is really nice, and we'll probably see that in the run. Also, if a character dies in combat, they are revived with 1 HP right afterwards, and so they don't stay dead. So we are kind of hoping that stuff kills Ethan every single fight, and it's a bit of RNG. So, you know, it's going to be kind of hit or miss, but we're going to try our best to get this level as quickly as possible. One of the nicest things about this is that once we hit level 5, the enemy groups will get a little tougher and it'll go faster. So it's really level 4 to 5 that's the worst of the group here. And then it speeds up considerably. Something else I want to talk about in this stretch of the run is some of the speed tech, and particularly the stats in the run, and kind of how I've routed the stat growth. So if you noticed when I leveled up earlier, you have 4 base stats in this game. You have strength, intelligence, speed, and luck. Of those 4, they kind of do what you'd think, but not exactly. So strength is the one that actually mainly affects your hit point growth. It doesn't really have a lot to do with your damage output. A tiny bit, but it's insignificant compared to weapon stats. So it's really not that important for damage. But it does affect your hit point growth. And the biggest thing is that every level, you get twice your current strength in max HP added to your current total. And it's not retroactive. Okay, so you have to sort of invest in strength early if you want to have respectable hit point growth late. So that's why Logan, for example, gets a lot of strength in the first few levels, because we are worried about Logan's hit points in the late game. Intelligence does the same thing for magic points. And then luck is like the hero stat in the game. Luck affects your damage rolls, critical hit rate, incoming and outgoing for both of those. So it's basically your sort of master combat stat. It's really huge. And so everything I'm doing here is to sort of get enough HP to have a solid HP total, and then really invest in luck for some boss fights coming up in the next little bit. So as we'll see, I build towards luck from levels 4 to 8. That's kind of the idea. Another thing you might notice is that I am walking around in a kind of a weird pattern, like I'm taking this very wide swing all through this area. That's because these blue blobs that appear as the monsters are actually on the map. They are sprites, they're just invisible. And so you want to sort of maximize your chances of bumping into them. Final last point on growth is that you also get a random number between 5 and 7 points every level. I have everything routed around 5, but if we get 7, that'll really help because I'll get some extra stats here and there that I can top things off with, which is really nice. I see some people talking in the chat about sort of localizations around this time, and yeah, some people have said this is not a Working Designs localization. I believe this is Hudson. There were some others on the TurboGrafx, other games that I own, in fact, that were Working Designs. In terms of where this fits in the Dragon Slayer / Legend of Heroes continuity, that's its own very complicated thing. So this game bears the title Dragon Slayer: The Legend of Heroes, which Dragon Slayer was a subtitle or a series title that Falcom slapped on everything that they made for a long time, basically. Everything that wasn't Ys just about. So there's an original game called Dragon Slayer, then there's Dragon Slayer, you know, number whatever, there's like Faxanadu, Legacy of the Wizard, those are all Dragon Slayer games. Legend of Heroes then sort of became its own spin-off series that eventually culminated in the Trails games, which is what the subtitle is used for now. There's no story continuity with any of the Trails games from this one. It's in a different universe entirely. But one thing I will say it has in common is the way that speed works in combat. Like, that is one continuity. So if you know how the Trails in the Sky games calculate your turn order, this is basically the same system. You have an action cost for attacking, and it's divided by your speed, and that's your delay. So speed is a somewhat important stat for that reason. But yeah, it's not really in either of the Dragon Slayer or Legend of Heroes series in terms of actually being a sequel proper to a particular game or anything like that. It's just kind of an odd little duck. Although it did have a direct sequel that was never released in English. Yeah, it's not so much that Faxanadu's in this series as just Falcom put the name Dragon Slayer on like every game that they made for a long time. And so if you look up just like the Dragon Slayer series, you'd be shocked at what's in it. It's like everything. Sorcerian, I think. I'm forgetting what all is in it, but like there's a lot of stuff. So it's pretty crazy. All right, we're really close to level 6, which will let us get Marcus finally. Now that he is no longer going to be feeling a lack of respect from our meager level. Oh, I need to fix that poison. So poison is an interesting status that we'll be abusing as on offense quite a bit. It puts you on a timer to be instant killed. So it's sort of dangerous to let it sit if you're the only character left. So in addition to coming in just as another party member, Marcus also joins us with some gold and some equipment we can sell. So we're going to now make a trip over to another town to pick up some advanced gear for this area. So the Legend of Heroes on the PSP are their own standalone series that has the Legend of Heroes subtitle but have no continuity with these two games, the Legend of Heroes 1 and 2. Or Dragon Slayer Legend of Heroes 1 and 2. So then you have just one that's just The Legend of Heroes without Dragon Slayer, and those are the 3 PSP games. Yeah, it's an unholy mess, isn't it? Alright, the monsters get very dangerous in this section. Like, we cannot yet handle this group until I get my gear. So we're going to run from that fight. Okay, enemies in this little strip are super deadly, so I'm hoping we don't really get too many of these. Another thing I really like about this game is how fast the menus are. Pretty much light speed. Okay, so now with all this wolf gear, we can handle the middle area of the island. Really, it's still not this far left. These are still far too deadly. But we can handle the wildcats, and those are worth quite a bit. So now we're going to hopefully blitz our way through to level 8. Is this being played on original hardware? Yes, it is. I'm playing this on a Turbo Duo with an original CD that I've had since I was about 12 years old. This is a game I had as a kid. I loved as a kid. I still love this game, so it's sort of an original. Alright, the Wildcat groups are great because they'll always kill Ethan and Marcus, so we'll get full value. It's also nice that Logan will usually one-shot these. Well, maybe usually is strong, but he can. We're getting a lot of 59 damage, which is fine. We prefer that Ethan not level because he'll get a full heal and he'll have to get knocked down to die again, but it's not the end of the world. Hit Ethan, please. Yeah. So once we get this level, we're going to have then a boss fight that my entire stat build is based around. Like that boss fight, if you do it with less luck and you don't really know how the stats work and you think, you know, luck is worthless in RPGs and you don't put points into it, that guy will tear you apart because he just crits you constantly. So our luck build is set up so that Logan can basically solo this fight and not take too much damage from critical hits. One more fight, so we're going to start heading a little towards the top, hopefully, to get back to town faster. This will do it. Yeah, well, you can set a mode, you can set the options to either have the point distribution be manual or automatic, and so I have it on manual so that I can build the characters as I want them. And it's like super important to the run to do it that way, because otherwise the way the computer builds it is just very balanced and not very good. Try to run from this, but he might camp the bridge. It's going to. Alright, it's fine. Yeah, it seems to do a pretty good job of buffering like the combat stuff so that it doesn't have to read it every time, because you can really visibly, or audibly is the word, hear the TurboGrafx kind of groan when the CD runs and it does something. It doesn't do it as often as you would think. Yeah, that's right, Rickshaw. And as we'll see, there's really not much grinding, other than this segment where it's literally forced by the story. We have to be level 8. There's pretty much none, other than maybe a little in the final dungeon if I'm not happy with my levels, but it's pretty straightforward once we get past this part. And I mentioned these blue blobs on the map are permanent sprites. Really pretty soon into the run we'll get access to a consumable that lets us actually see those and as we walk around, so we can kind of dodge random encounters better. Yeah, the text box speed is another option you can set. So it has like slow, fast, and block, where it just all shows in one solid block, and so that's super fast. And because I'm using Turbo on the TurboGrafx, I gotta shut up.
What you want?
I am Logan, Crown Prince of Farlane, I hereby order you to release all prisoners slaving in the pits.
I hereby order you to la-dee-da-da. Give me a break. Baron Drax has got a reward on your head that's astronomical. And if anybody's gonna collect it, it's gonna be me.
I love that dialogue. It's so bad. Alright, so this commander fight is genuinely awful. I'm gonna try to venom him. We got it! That's actually super rare. This will really speed things up. Because he casts this spell called Calm that blocks all of your spell casting. And normally you just have to chip him down. Venom does kill him, and he's gonna die fast. We got a turn before you did. That's really rare, but nice. He almost always goes first, and so he casts Calm right away, and you just have to melee that fight. That was really lucky.
Are you the guys that freed us?
This is just the beginning. I won't rest until I've freed my kingdom from the evil clutches of that accursed Drax.
Wait a second. Who are you?
Hey, watch your language, fella. You're talking to the Crown Prince himself, Logan of Farlane.
No kidding. A real prince. How about that? Well, my name's Giles, and I also got a bone to pick with Drax. You mind if I tag along and give you a hand?
Giles? You wouldn't happen to be related to that ill-reputed cut-purse, Magic Fingers, Giles, now would you?
A richer man if I was.
If you'll excuse me for saying so, Prince, I think we're doing all right so far. Being that that's the case, we don't need this guy.
Hey, butt out, boy. I'm talking to His Highness, not his lackey. Come on, Prince, what do you say?
I say no.
I'm warning you, kid.
Enough. There's no point in arguing amongst ourselves. Our enemy is Drax, and if Giles is willing to join us, well, we do need all the help we can get.
My thoughts exactly. You won't regret your decision, Your Highness.
I love Marcus so much. Spoilers, I wish he was in the run longer, but Marcus is just the best. Yeah, if you want to do the Giles voice, you need to sort of set your jaw really far to the side and then talk out of the side of your mouth like you're Cagney. Why am I taking this fight? I don't need this. Alright. So now we just have to go back to Revere again, our base, get another little inspirational speech, and then rush the castle. So Giles joins with a full set of the wolf equipment that we bought on Logan, so he's basically a second Logan, and he's going to be enough to trash the rest of this chapter, so we're pretty well set.
Prince Logan, just look at these lads. You'll not find a finer bunch in all of Isrenaza. Aye, with these laddies by your side, it won't be long before you drive Drax out of Sylvan. Come on, lads! It's time we showed that tyrant Drax how we really feel about him. Down with Drax! Long live Prince Logan!
Down with Drax! Long live Prince Logan!
This is on the TurboGrafx CD. I think it's 1992 or 3. I'm not exactly sure. Oh yeah, perfect movement. I always mess that up, so I'm happy I got that. Okay, so we have to clear out all these sentinels, and then we fight another commander. But it's a much easier fight because of the second party member, Giles. I know, right? I love how fast-paced this is. And it's just a joy to play. Like, the combat's super crunchy. You just have this little shake, and that's it. And it's just really satisfying. Okay, wow, we got, like, wrecked here.
Step back, men. Give me some room. Allow me to show these rebels what it means to face a real soldier.
Impressive. Truly impressive. I underestimated you, Logan. However, losing the throne of Farlane is only a minor setback when you consider the fact that my final objective is the domination of Isranaza. I should have taken care of you when I had the chance. Oh well, I'm sure our paths will cross again. Until that time comes, I bid you farewell.
Yeah, the second commander is not a problem. The first one went unusually well. Usually you have to use a couple herbs to get your way through that, but once you have Giles, you just have so much damage output and HP, it's not a problem. Yeah, this is not Yuzo Koshiro, this is Ryo Yonemitsu, the soundtrack. Well, that might be true, Kumo. I think it's credited as JDK and Yonemitsu, so I'm not sure exactly who did the originals on, like, I think PC-88 is the first version of this. This game's actually on a lot of platforms, but not in English. This was the only English version of it. Right, this game forces us to stay at the end to give us a cutscene.
Your pardon, my lord. My apologies for waking you before the break of dawn, but we have a problem.
What is it, Ethan?
A delicate matter, my lord. I believe somebody's been helping himself to my purse.
Are you suggesting that there's a thief among us?
The possibility did cross my mind.
I'll bet it was Giles.
Curses, Marcus. I thought you were sleeping.
Just give me a few minutes with that Giles, and I'll get a full confession out of him.
Hold it down, Marcus. You have no proof.
Gentlemen, I think it's best that we keep our own opinions to ourselves and see if it happens again.
Sure, Your Highness, but if I catch that thief with anything of mine, I'll send him straight to the Seeker.
Conflict. I'm glad everyone's appreciating Marcus as much as I do. He's the best. Alright, next we're headed to this red cave to save a kid that's been kidnapped by the Gar Master. And we're going to run into an enemy here that I want to comment on once we see it. If I can ever get around to random encounters. Oh, come on. Brutal. Okay, so the static bot or regular fights here, these guys are imps. The imps. These are the single most effective imps in the history of RPGs. They are insane. So their gimmick is that they attempt to put your whole party to sleep, then cast the Venom spell, and wait you until you die. And it's really effective. I ran away there to reset the fight because we were off to a bad start, and it's going to happen again. These guys are horrible, and they're a huge RNG nightmare. We really just need good turn order to kill one of them, and then hope that the rest are not so bad. The Imps, yes. I think I might even have to reset this fight. This is ridiculous. And if you think this is bad now, wait until we lose one of our party members and we only have 3 people. They're not vulnerable to magic either, so I can't use Marcus's attack spells. Please, someone wake up and kill this thing. Oh my god. Alright. What does Giles get? Strength. Usually this first couple, the ones in these cave when you have a full party, are not as bad as that just happened, but it's going to be a problem later. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to reset this. The turn order. We just need to get 2 turns in a row so we kill it. And they keep getting their cures in. Alright. Once they're down to 1, it's fine.
What be this foul odor? Be the smell of human flesh? Ah, must be dinner time.
Yeah, the voice acting is an option. You know, you can turn it off. It saves, I think, about 18 minutes from what I very loosely calculated from one of my VODs. But yeah, why would you want to? It's... Oh, okay, good. This guy can heal, and I was concerned he would do it. We'll see, Kumo. It's going to depend on my schedule. I don't know what the dates will be. Alright, so killing that boss clears out the cave of all the monsters so we can collect all the loot. Oh, right. Item. Oh, my inventory's full. That's weird. Rarely happens. Oh, crap. I made a mistake. It's not a huge one, but I forgot. I shouldn't have sold that armor. That's fine.
I hate to bring this subject up, but it looks like somebody's been in my purse.
Why is everybody looking at me?
Nobody's accusing you, Giles.
Say what? I think it's pretty obvious who the thief around here is.
Prove it, slime bait.
Proof? Who needs it? I just don't trust you. For all we know, you might be working for Drax.
Hold your tongue, Marcus. You're way out of line.
Well, pardon me, your royalness, but I ain't big-hearted enough to let this thief rob me blind.
That's it. I've had enough. I should have known better than to team up with a bunch of losers. When you face Drax the next time, you're just gonna have to do it without me.
Giles, wait.
Sorry, Highness. I'm history.
Giles!
Alright, so Marcus has run off Giles. I'm going to use an item here, this telelens, which lets me see these blobs. So you can mostly dodge. It's actually a little harder than it looks for 2 reasons. One is that you move pretty fast and you scroll the screen pretty close to the edge, so it's actually a little hard to react fast enough. The other is that certain parts of the map are kind of balanced around you having these, so they're kind of a lot of narrow passageways and stuff. But it's a really cool item. Oops. Spot. We also see how spells work in this game. So your spell book is basically customizable, and you run into these different wizards throughout the game that give you different spells. You can kind of pick and choose what you want to keep. Okay, so that town is being besieged by the Imps. Oh dear. You might have noticed I sold off all my weapons as well, so we really are not equipped to deal with that just yet. So what I'm going to do instead is go into this town here. I'm going to sell one of my safety items as well so I can buy the armor that I accidentally sold, get it back. Okay, so now we have the Imps with 3 party members, but fortunately the Iron Lance that we just bought is enough output, damage output to one-shot them. So we can kill these in one hit, it makes all the difference in the world. It's still a turn order fight. If they get to go first and they sleep lock us, I can just game over without getting a turn, and that almost certainly will happen at least once here. So these are still sort of a nightmare, but here it is. There's really nothing you can do about this. You can run and reset the fight. The only sort of fix for that is to have more speed on your party members to have slightly better initiative, but it's not very practical given the other constraints we have in the run for stats, so it's just a luck thing here. Brutal section. Right, okay. Oh, that went pretty well, really. Alright, now we have a few plot triggers to hit. In the later chapters, particularly 3 and 4, this game becomes kind of obtuse plot triggers, the RPG. There's a lot of dialogues you have to do in just the right order to trigger stuff to happen and things like that. Is luck your critical hit stat? Yes. It's also actually your damage roll stat. It really affects all of your combat effectiveness. It's a huge stat. Alright, take a few dialogues. So we have the Warp 1 spell, which lets us travel in one direction, but we always have to kind of walk back, so we can kind of do half of the warping. But now that we've had that conversation, we're going to find out that the town that we literally just warped away from has been attacked by monsters, somehow in that millisecond. So now we have to go back and save it. It's not possible to soft lock, at least that I know of. You just have to walk around and talk to stuff. There's one particular plot trigger that really annoyed me when I figured it out, because there's one spot in Chapter 5 where the game won't progress until you walk out of a certain town. And by that time you already have a spell that warps you around, and so you're just used to doing that, and you actually have to leave the town. And it's really frustrating.
I thought I smelled the rat when I heard Grimwolf was under siege by monsters.
if it isn't the late Corwin's meddlesome offspring. I didn't think our paths would cross this soon. You don't know how much I've looked forward to this. For this day, I will rid myself of you once and for all.
Dream on, Drax. For even if my destiny is to fall this day, I solemnly swear that I'll take you down with me.
We will see, boy. We will see.
All right, so despite our heroic speech, this is a forced loss, so we're going to get our butts kicked here. Okay, so since we got our butts handed to us there, we decide that we need to find the Calm spell that was used against us in the first chapter by the commander, which is a really cool spell. I don't think I've seen it in other RPGs. It's a spell that is a global mute. It turns off all magic for all characters, including both teams. It cannot be resisted. We're going to use it through the entire run. It's a really interesting spell. And so we're trying to get access to it. We know it's hidden in this tower, but we need a key to get in, so we're going there to make a mold of the keyhole. That's the immediate progress gimmick here. Oh crud, we gotta fight this because he's off center. Or he's actually on center, but you know what I mean. Yeah, there's probably some RPGs that have done it, but I don't know of a ton. It's a really interesting concept. Not such a big deal in this dungeon, but one thing we'll see later is the stairs are really finicky. Show unequipped marks. Okay, good.
Prince Logan, wake up! It's Marcus. He's gone.
Gone? What do you mean, gone?
He's nowhere to be found. I searched everywhere but couldn't find hide nor hair of him. I can only assume that he's left us for good.
Wait a minute, let me check. Oh no. Doom's Tear, it's gone! Come on, Ethan. We've got to find Marcus.
And I like the rhythm of how he says, "It's Marcus, he's gone." Okay, so the walk to the tower with two people is super dangerous here because of these imps. Hopefully we'll get, yeah. Okay. Speak of the devil. Oh, whoop. Whoa. Oops. These guys are juking me out of my shoes all of a sudden. They're taking some really weird routes. Okay, so we go to get the spell and we find out that the stone tablet has been defaced. But look, it's Giles to save the day. We're going to get it for everyone because it's, like I said, really useful. Works on literally everything in the entire game, including the last boss. Now we just have to go back and cast it on Drax and he'll run away. Marcus betrayed us and ran off. He's working for Drax.
foolish child. Haven't you learned that you've met your match? That spell, that accursed spell. There's a time to fight and a time to run. Right now, wisdom dictates that I choose to run. Till we meet again, son of Corwin.
We're actually going to see Marcus here. He's been beaten up and he's realized he made a mistake. That's him sort of curled up in a ball. Joining character levels are fixed. Alright, now we have a very important shopping trip. I have a lot of stuff in my inventory. Whoops. Now we have access to these guys. Yeah, that's interesting. I have a really full inventory. I just have a lot of herbs, which is fine. We'll need them in the near future, but it's sort of unusual. Alright, now we can see the blobs. Like I said, they're still not completely trivial to dodge. I'm going to take a little detour to get an optional accessory. It's going to really help, really for the next part of the game, but also the entire run. It's going to be an offensive item. It's going to increase our attack power. And usually it's a pretty quick dip in and out of this cave, because it's pretty early on. The telelens makes the blue blobs visible on the overworld so that you can see them. I can get around this guy. The blobs are also visible if you run away from them, so you can still see them after you run. And they become visible when you get in combat with them. So this Viper Ring increases Logan's attack power by 100, which is a lot right now. And it's going to make a lot of difference in the next segment. Alright, so our next story thing is we have to go to the town of Rockburg here and check up on the brother of the mayor of the town that we just saved. He's a little worried about him because he hasn't heard from him. So we go talk to the brother, and he's, you know, acting a little suspicious. So we go back. And he's going to tell us, you know, my brother has these scars on his hand from when he was a kid, so why don't you take a look and see if that's really him? Because that's a thing that might happen, you know. The town might be fake or something. You never know. Oops. Coming up is a pretty execution-heavy and RNG-heavy part of the run, so we'll see how it goes. This is one of the more difficult segments, particularly the first screen. Though since I have so many herbs, it should probably be alright. I'm going to dip in and out for a warp 1 point. It's honestly not that long a game casually. It might be 5 or 6 hours. Alright, so it turns out the entire town is actually rock monsters. And notice how much more damage Logan is going to do on average here than the others with his Viper Ring. Alright, so we want to try to get around these guys as much as we can. Oof. Let's see if we can rearrange these. Yeah, it's funny the town's named Rockburg. It's kind of funny how that works out. Ah, like I thought. If you stop on the top of this bridge, they'll back off from you, and I mistimed it. I'll just fight it. Look at this guy behind the gate. That's really rare. It's actually super awkward. It's one extra fight. There's no way to round him, probably. I'll try it. Let's see if I can run. Oh, yeah. Alright, once you get to the second screen, it's a little more sedate. We still have several forced fights, but there's not as many of the ones running around, and they're easy to get around. Alright, I'm going to bait all these guys to the left here, and we're going to make a run for it. Oh, this is actually bad. We're going to die. That crit on Logan was not a good news. We get to see finally, I think, what happens when you lose a fight. You just restart. There's no real penalty for it. Alright. There's a little puzzle here. If you try to go through this door, it will not let you through. And the gimmick is that the door blocks metal, so you have to take off all of your gear to get through it. Wow, I have way too much stuff. This is insane. Why do I have so much crap? You can go talk to an NPC to get a hint about that, but you don't actually have to do that. You can just know it and go through the door. Easy juke. Alright, now we're ready for the Chapter 2 boss.
Who dares invade the halls of my castle? Have you taken leave of your senses? Are you aware that you're now face to face with Strom the Untamed, the conqueror of Wingard? If so, may the Seeker help you. Because believe me, you will need all the help you can get.
The effects on the monster voices are really special. This guy's really simple. He just attacks the bottom person in your party order every single turn. And so we really just want to keep whoever that is alive. Oh wow, that was unusual. While we cast Calm so he doesn't heal. While Logan chips him down. Pretty basic. Alright.
How disappointing. I'm afraid Strom fell far too short of my expectations.
Well, that's too bad, Drax. Now defend yourself, or are you going to run again like some whipped cur?
Run? Could it be you're mistaking tactical retreat for running? I would be a fool to risk my life when I'm so close to achieving my goal. No, Logan. I'll face you once again in a place of my own choosing, under my own conditions. Until then, fare thee well.
The herb heals 500, so for where we are now, it is a full heal, but it does cap eventually. I picked up Warp Wings, which let us now use the Warp 2 spell, which is travel from town to town. Just your standard like return spell. And then Venom for all of our party members, the poison spell. So we're about to meet the worst voice actor in the game. I hate to be judgy about it, because it's a tough competition, but get ready.
Well, it took you long enough to get here.
Sonia, what in the Seeker's name are you doing here?
I had nothing better to do, so I thought I'd drop in and help you track down Drax. The fact of the matter is, King Rowan sent word to your mother, Queen Sylvia. He said that you were a bit short-handed and could probably use an extra sword. Naturally, when I heard of this, I knew you need the best, so I volunteered. By the way, what happened to Marcus?
Yeah, it's a long story. I'd rather not go into it right now.
Okay, you're the boss. Actually, you're lucky I came because I know a few spells myself, although I must admit I'm not in Marcus's class. Now, where do we go from here?
Wait a minute, just wait a minute. Who said you were coming in the first place?
My dear Prince, who is going to stop me?
All right, you may join us.
I thought you'd see it my way.
Now we have, you know, it's like our third or fourth ship voyage, but it is a Falcom game. So you got to expect something's going to happen when you're in the boat. Also, this track is a banger.
We got ourselves a couple of live ones, Captain Morgan. They might be good for mending their sails.
Good job, Mr. Sneed. Put him in the brig while I finish this hand.
Aye, Captain.
Hope everyone caught that was Captain Morgan.
Oh, what have we here? A pretty little lassie, eh? Sneed, take these gentlemen out to the docks and show them how we like our decks swabbed. In the meantime, I'll see what me and this lovely lady has in common. Whoa, wait a second. Giles, why, you thieving little cutpurse. What are you doing here?
I didn't exactly come here by choice, you old sea dog. Now that you recognize me, I hope you'll treat me and my friends a little better than you have so far.
Why not? Mr. Sneed, break out the silverware. We're going to have ourselves a little party tonight.
Aye, Captain. Consider it done.
Gentlemen and gentle lady, if you'll follow me this way.
See, nothing bad even happened on the boat. We made some new friends. Like, it's totally fine. Alright, so this chapter is where we start to get pretty fast-paced story stuff, because we'll have access to fast travel from town to town. So the first part is going to be just picking up warp points and story triggers, and then we have a dungeon at the end of it. It is the single most train wreck potential part of the run. It's a very dangerous dungeon. We'll see how it goes. It can go really clean, but there's some very difficult fights in it if we get stuck, so we'll see how it treats us this time. Ah, you jerk. Oh, also, we're going to find out that Ethan here is actually Prince Evan, the younger brother of the king of this land, who left because he didn't want to, step on anybody's toes, I guess. Now that it's being attacked by monsters, the king begs us to save the day. We escaped the pirates by virtue of Giles being friends with the pirates, and so he said, hey, let us go, and they did. Good thing Giles is with us. Carrying this run. Oh, I don't need to do anything here yet. We're just getting warp points. Alright, so these guys are telling us, help us save the town by going to talk to the Dragon Priestess and have her turn off the magic power that all the monsters are feeding off of. So we go to talk to her, and she tells us, well, I'd love to, except my secret dragon pendant was stolen by the tax collectors, and I can't do my ritual, so we have to go back to the tax collectors in the town of Levy, and we have to shame them into giving back all the stuff, which works because Ethan is kind of a scold, and all these dialogues that we're skipping through, he's just like giving little speeches. Which one guy? Runs are always successful. I mean, Levy is almost certainly a localization thing. They just made it really obvious. Town name. I don't know what the town names are in Japanese. I didn't need to walk out of there, but that's fine. Norse. Alright, now we're going to get some really important spells, particularly this Warp 2 spell, which is our fast travel spell. I grab Sleep 2 on everyone but Sonya. And Venom 3 on Sonya. We're also going to talk to this fisherman, because it's very important. And we're going to manually walk out of town, because that's also very important. Now we go back to where the king was hiding out, and we're going to find he's been kidnapped. And the monsters demand a ransom. This item called Doom's Eye. Doesn't sound ominous at all. And it's in the Tombs, a dungeon here. But it's locked, and the keys were stolen by the pirates. We could go see our pirate buddies. And he tells us, yeah, I took the gems out of the key, but I threw them all overboard. But it turns out we've been getting hints that there's these fish in the area that like to eat shiny things. And so we need to talk to the fishermen to see if they've fished up any shiny things that might be our key to our dungeon. Yes, this is the story. And we go talk to this one, and he does in fact have our key. But it's superstition that you don't give up anything you fished out of the ocean because it's bad luck, so he's not willing to give it to us unless we can prove it's ours. Which we could do if we had the gem that goes in the setting, which Captain Morgan has, so we go talk to him again. He can be in lots of places. Let's see where he is. And he tells us no. And when we walk out, he beats up one of his own men. And that gives us the in that we need to find out Captain Morgan's only weakness. His mother. So yeah, that all just happened. Now we're coming up on a very difficult dungeon. High Spirit's saying the run cannot fail. Wait till you see this dungeon, and we'll see how it treats us. Gotta go pick up our key. Go back to Skyhaven. I'm gonna make a safety save here, just in case. Alright, so the problem with this dungeon is that the monsters that populate it are really, really difficult. So these things called Grimgoons, this guy, and we really can't kill these. I cannot kill these with damage. I literally don't have any way. What I can kill them with is the Venom spell. So that's nice. We at least have a way to kill them. But they do a lot of damage in the meantime, and we get kind of destroyed during the fight. So we're going to first pick up some armor to let one of our characters survive if we get kind of cornered here. And then the biggest problem with this dungeon is that there's a very long vertical hallway that's one tile wide in which you cannot get around monsters. And you really just have to commit to it and hope for the best, and you might end up with like 6 fights if you get unlucky. So I'm actually going to put the armor on Ethan, because he has a good MP pool, and, this is really important, he's a low level. So if he is the last man standing in a fight, which will be the case often, he'll gain a level from that, and he will regain his MP, and so he can continue to cast Venom. Running out of MP is a serious problem here, which is why I had that Mage Fruit item that I sold earlier, because I made a mistake. So hopefully that won't become a problem. Alright, I'm better running from this guy 3 times in this narrow hallway than trying to fight him, unless it's absolutely required. You just don't want to fight stuff. this is our hallway. We're going to try to sort of see what's down here. Okay, that's really good. We have one fight. That's fine. I can live with this. Alright. We should be okay. They can still crit Ethan, which could suck, so I'm going to heal him here. Alright, and so now you see the idea. Ethan gets a refill every time we win a fight. So, that's really nice. Oh, that's not good. Alright, we're going to try to back out here and get around these guys in that little area. Should be able to. There's one more section of this dungeon that has another similar narrow hallway coming up in a second. So, you just are really at the mercy of the monster spawns here. Okay, that was amazing. That can be full of like 12 monsters. I'm not even kidding. That was actually a really good tombs. It's not a hard game to find for emulation, but yeah, the physical copies of it are pretty expensive, and you would also need a TurboGrafx CD. Alright, so with that item, we can now go into this town and get bumped around by all these monsters wandering around. But we're about to fight the chapter boss, who unfortunately does not have a voice line. It's the only chapter boss not to get one. This is a relatively easy fight. It's a little luck-based, but he's also vulnerable to venom, so as soon as that hits early, we calm him and win the fight. If it's a little slow to hit, we'll die to damage before we get a kill, but it's usually okay. There we go. You can see that he hits like a truck, so he doesn't know calm. Actually, we're probably going to lose this one. Almost certainly. We didn't get that fast enough. Yeah, we throw it at the boss and the king runs away with it. Much better. Alright. Alright, now that we've cleared out this town and gotten rid of all the monsters, we can visit the hospital, and we can buy Captain Morgan's heart medicine. Yes, indeed. We're also going to buy some extras, because it's actually a revive item. We're going to save those for the final boss. And what else would a pirate trade for heart medicine? But explosives. Thanks, Palarize. Alright, we need the explosives to get through this area that's blocking the next part of the run. Torch, please. Alright. And I'm looking at it, I'm seeing Logan's level is a little low. He's usually 16 here and has over 600 hit points. That might be a slight problem coming up. It may just mean we need to reroll a fight a little more than usual. We'll see how it goes. So Chapter 4 is really short and sweet. There's no dungeons in it, there's just some plot stuff and then a couple boss fights. Oh, I forgot to do something, but it's fine. Okay, now we meet Queen Claire, and we're going to learn a couple of things. This is very long dialogue. One is she's going to tell us that all the men of the kingdom have been bewitched by the evil sorceress Sandra, and that they're on the roof dancing around like idiots. So we need to sort of break in there. She also tells us this legend about this dragon named Nausea that's a prophecy of the end of the world, and this suddenly comes up out of nowhere, but is obviously going to be relevant. So with those two leads, we go off to the other towns here. Yeah, we're going to have a solo fight with Logan versus Drax later, and it's a little dicey at this current HP. Put it that way. Alright, we have to talk to certain plot triggers here, including this dog. Not only do we have to talk to the dog, it is mandatory that we exit and re-enter town and talk to the dog again. The dog is extremely important. I'm also going to buy the single best item in the game here. The rabbit's foot. I forgot to buy potions, so I need to do that too. Okay, so we're going to meet this inventor, Isaac, who's trying to invent a kite, like a hang glider. But he's having trouble finding the right cloth. And we think, hey, we could use that kite to get into the roof of the castle where all the men are and, you know, destroy the sorceress. So we do this and talk to the dragon guy here, and he tells us about something called dragon cloth, which sounds relevant, but he won't really give us more information. We go back to Isaac, and he'll look it up and say, oh, this would be perfect. It's like cloth made from like baby dragon fur. Let's see if we can get some of that. So we go back and ask about it. Oh yeah, we do get the Doom's Eye from the cutscene after the chapter. The king gives it back to us. Alright, so we're going to go check on the dragon egg, and it's gone. It's been stolen. Perhaps by Drax, who knows? Nah, the dog took it. He buried it. So we find the dragon. The dragon thinks we're its mother. We take the dragon back to the dragon guy, and he says, oh, I'm so grateful the dragon's alive. I have my dragon cloth. And we get a kite. Oh yes, there is a max inventory space, and it's a problem in a couple spots. So now we're coming up on a boss fight that is very stupid. Very stupid. Uncommonly stupid. So the evil Enchantress Sandra is going to confuse our 3 male party members, and so only Sonia is going to be able to do anything sensical. I've tried things to try to make this fight, you know, consistent, and it's fastest to just hold down the A button and just wait until the characters kill the boss. Like, there's really not a good strat for this. So we're just going to sit here while everything plays out with the confused characters. What we want to see is them cast Calm so that they stop casting spells, and then they'll attack the boss. She doesn't need MP. I could have taken an inn stay at that town visit, and I don't even bother.
Well, hello boys. Care to join me in a dance?
Prince Logan, Ethan, Giles, what's going on?
I can't move.
It would seem that my spell doesn't work on the fairer sex, so I'll just have to take care of you in a different manner. In the meantime, answer me this. Are you after the Doom's Key?
Doom's Key?
Never mind. I've already taken it from the hands of dear King Theos.
Thieving witch?
Bite your tongue, I didn't steal it. I was rewarded by the king for my outstanding performance that literally had him dancing with joy.
Well, if that's the case, perhaps I can persuade you to hand it over.
Cute little girl, you've such a way with words. But I'm afraid it's too late for threats, as I've already sent the precious little item by Carrier Eagle to he who rules the darkest horde. Now, on to more pressing matters. It's time to end this conversation permanently.
The Eagle Captain, is I see in the chat, knows what's up. He's run this game a little bit too. So we really just want someone to cast Calm, and then Logan will kill this boss, often in one hit, or at least pretty quickly. There we go. That's it. All right. Good fight.
You? Again? I begin to weary of your persistence, boy.
Then make it easy on yourself, Drax. Surrender.
Surrender? Not when I have this particular card to play.
Prince Logan!
Princess Micah! Drax! You've gone too far. Release her!
What's the matter, Logan? Surprised to meet your childhood sweetheart under these circumstances? As I said, I'm tired of having you dog my heels. I'd like to put an end to this farce once and for all.
Then set the princess free and draw your sword.
I told you before that I would prefer to meet you under my conditions and at my terms. Now listen. If you wish to free your precious princess, meet me at the Hollow Cavern, alone. There we will find out which of the two of us is fit to survive.
I'll be there.
I know you will.
Yeah, Mike, one of our characters cast a sleep that hit, and then we got her with the instant death rod. It was a really quick fight. Unusually so. Alright, so this little showdown with Drax, I'm a little concerned about it given our level. We'll see how it goes. What's this? Usually I'm level 16 and have about 650 HP here. This could be problematic.
Prince Logan, we realize that this is something you must do alone. We'll go to Havelock and await your return. May the Seeker protect you.
There's no need to safety save because I can retry the fight infinitely many times.
I salute you and your stupidity, Logan, for only a fool would dare to face me alone. I would have thought you'd come with your dear friends.
Save your breath, Drax. Where's Micah?
Micah? I'm afraid I've misplaced her somewhere in the desert. She's probably buzzard bait by now.
You heartless dog. Prepare to meet your maker.
Okay, so the key to this fight is the Rabbit's Foot, which is an item that sets our luck to 200 for one fight, which usually means that we don't get crit, but we just did. But this is the idea. This will basically allow us to one-shot everything in this fight, and mostly dodge stuff and not take as much damage. But yeah, it's still just iffy, because Drax's crits do exactly 590 with the Rabbit's Foot active, so it's like just at the wrong end of this. Better. Okay. Oh, crud. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh, I gotta go for the rabbit's foot and hope we dodge. That's the only strat. This is what I was afraid of. Because the extra 80 HP really does make a huge difference here. My god. Not very easily. I guess I could in a pinch. But I mean, we'll get this eventually if he stops critting me. Yeah, casually probably about level 20. Okay, this is getting really ridiculous. We'll give it a few more tries, and I may go out and try to get a combat. Although I'm not sure what I would even fight. That's kind of the problem. Because I don't even really know what encounters in this area are doable. Maybe the sylphs. Okay, that's a good start. Just don't crit me. Alright, we got it. Phew!
You're better than I gave you credit for, boy. But don't be fool enough to assume that it's all over. Though it pains me to admit it, I am but a pawn. You've not won until you've bested Naja, master of the darkest horde. It brings a smile to my lips, knowing that you're destined for a fate far worse than death.
Oh wait, I need 45 strength. Alright, we go straight from this into another boss fight that's also silly in its own way.
Logan, I presume. I see you've defeated Drax. I guess I owe you my thanks as you've saved me the trouble of eliminating him myself. That's right, he was quite expendable. A tool for obtaining Doom's Tear and Doom's Eye, which are now temporarily in your possession. Once I've ended your worthless life, both will be mine. I'm sure Master Naja will be pleased by this arrangement, don't you?
Only if you succeed, Scaleface.
Giles?
Not to mention Ethan and yours truly.
Prince Logan, you didn't really think Sonia would let us stay behind and twiddle our thumbs.
Oh, excellent. The band's all here.
Yeah, and you're gonna be one sorry beastie for messing with us in the first place.
Oh, well, we'll see about that, child.
Alright, so this boss fight, I basically combined two inconsistent strats into one semi-consistent strat. So we're going to Rabbit's Foot Logan for damage. We're also going to try to get a Venom to land. Unfortunately, you see that he can heal the Venom spell. So we're trying to distract him long enough to keep him from... Ah, come on. I need to either get a Venom and a Calm in 2 turns in a row, or have Logan kill him. Okay, there we go. That went fine. Alright, so now I've got my strength where I want it on everybody for their HP growth for the end game, and so I'm just going to put speed for the rest of the run to make them act faster in combat. What number Dragon Slayer is this? I don't even know. Like 10? I couldn't even guess. Okay, so we found out that they took the Princess Micah that was left in the desert. She was picked up by the caravan and we bought the Rabbit's Foot, and they went off to the next continent. So off we go to Mortavia, the land of thieves. 6? It's that low. I'm surprised. Ah. That guy steals gold from you. Alright, we're going to pick up our last spell of the run, the Leech spell, which is actually defense down. We'll be using this on the next couple bosses. Hit. Ah. That was actually a pretty good walk.
Prince Logan! Praise the Seeker, you found me!
Princess Micah!
You'd be wise to hand over the girl, Sonny.
And you might live a little longer if you just turn around and walk away.
You dare threaten Big Giles, the Bandit King of Galan? Make mincemeat of him.
Right, boss.
Back off, Gramps.
Giles, if it isn't my long-lost grandson.
Not by choice, old man.
Still quick with the tongue, eh? Well, I'm still glad to see ya. Come on, let's go over to my joint.
So we learned Giles is also royalty of a sort. And Big Giles challenges Giles to pass a test so he can get out of, you know, running the family business. But it's a but thou must, so we just lose it on purpose. All right, now we're going to go back to that cave that we just pieced out of almost instantly, and we're going to solve it for real and pick up an item that's in there that we need for the story, as well as some other gear. Kind of a little puzzle dungeon. There's no monsters in here. So this gym gear is kind of interesting because the people in the area will comment on how it's no good against fire, and it's lucky that there aren't any fire monsters in the north here. You take it into the final chapter with dragons, it will melt. Literally, it will just vaporize off of your back if you get hit with a fire attack. So it's a kind of an interesting gimmick. Alright, I'm going to do this dialogue a bunch to get a bunch of these Sleep Mist items, which are consumables that cast the Sleep 3 spell in combat. Basically going to fill up my inventory with them. And then, where am I going next? We're going to go Carcass again, right? We give it to this guy who can't sleep, and then he sleeps, and now we can use him as an inn. This is required for the story. This is the spot I mentioned earlier where you have to walk out of town to advance the plot. We're also going to take a little detour to do some shopping, or some selling, really. Yeah, the gold sword does actually suck. We're just going to sell it for money. It's terrible. I like that touch, personally. Alright, so we're going to find that Big Giles was attacked while he was escorting the princess back, and she was kidnapped. So we're going to go back to the Prime Minister in Carcass and see what he's up to. And we get attacked by these guys, who are kind of dangerous. Well, they can be. That went well. Alright. Yeah, these Doom Specters will fight a few of. They hit super hard. They are vulnerable to status, so you can end the fight really quickly if you get lucky, but they're kind of brutal. Because they can literally one-shot us. As you can see, I'm going to do this time. That's got a little higher hit rate. I want to save them for later, but we'll go ahead and use it. Oh no, we're gonna die. Oh, we got him. Alright. Whew. Yeah, I think the second one lived up to my description a little. Alright, now we have a very obnoxious part of the run, kind of an escort mission, where we're gonna go talk to this archaeologist now that we've got this gold card item. And he's going to lead us through the ruins that we were just in on rails. We cannot control it. We cannot stop to heal or anything. He just walks us through, and we bump into monsters and have to fight them. It can go fine. It can go really poorly. We'll see what happens. Yeah. It's not very common to get the goblins on the first floor, so that sucks. But this is why I have all these sleep mists, because we can put these to sleep and kill them. Hopefully. I'm actually going to double up the sleep so they stay asleep. What we want to do is have Sonya use her instant death skill on them. You can also kill them with Venom. I only got 2 left. Wow, that's not great. I do have the sleep spell. It just has a lower hit rate. I think the stats cap at 200, but I wouldn't swear to that. Ooh. So we're out of sleep mists, which is because we had a pretty full inventory, so that's not a good start. Oh, that's really bad. Okay, we're gonna have to just take the death here and try again. Yeah, that's good. Excellent. That should really do it. Oh, wait, she just kill it. I don't like to attack those guys because they have a very damaging counterattack that can hit even when they're asleep. Okay, we're clear. That went pretty well.
Are you okay, old man? Come on, lay back for a minute while I take care of that thing. All right, big and ugly. Let's see you chew on this. What the?
Nice try, man-child. I just love it when someone falls for that image-casting trick. If you really wish to face me, you'll have to make your way to the top floor of this crystal tower where you'll find the real me. But since the control unit for the tower's elevator is currently in my hands here on the top floor, you won't be able to face me, unless you can fly, of course. Let me put it another way. The situation is hopeless. Now return to the high and mighty minister and tell him I'll be coming after his hide soon.
Can you stand, old fella?
Yes. I don't know if this will help, but I've got a warp quill in my pouch.
Actually came out of that with full HP. That's weird. And MP. Let's just go. I don't need to heal. Alright, since we already got the silver horn, which is the item they allude to in that conversation, we can now finish the dungeon right away. Ooh.
Prince Logan, I just knew you'd come.
Come on, princess. Let's get out of here.
But how? The door doesn't open from this side.
Let me have a look at the door. Gracious, there isn't even a card slot on this side.
There's got to be a way out.
Ha! We got you! Knew you be coming. Be very cunning. Master Naja will be proud.
Oh yeah, you can save anywhere. It's Marcus again. He's here to save the day. I've always liked this line. But he takes the princess while we go smash the boss. This is a very dicey boss as well. Not consistent at all. We'll see how it treats us. Yeah, I'm in good shape. Alright.
I think we found Gaius, or at least his body. That's strange. He looks like he's in some kind of trance.
Be wary. He might be faking.
Yeah, but if he's not, this is as good a time as any to put an end to his threat.
You should have looked quicker, children. I'm at my most vulnerable when I communicate with Master Naja in this manner. I trust you have the Jewels of Doom in your possession?
What is it with you and your obsession for the jewels?
You mean you don't know? Well, in that case, I'll have to take care of you before you find out.
Okay, so the gimmick with this boss is he starts out with being asleep and having this shadow that casts spells. If you keep him asleep, you can critical hit him every turn, because sleeping enemies always get crit. If you wake him up, the shadow goes away, and he starts attacking you with the Gem Rod, which is an item that casts the Drain spell, basically. And he's, like, incredibly fast in that form, and it is no good. The problem is that in this form, the shadow will heal him. But we want to keep him asleep, and we just want to hope for the right rolls, which we got. And just get the right turn order and kill him. That's the trick to the fight.
This is not possible! Me, Gaius the Magnificent, bested by a handful of humans! The jewels, the doomsday device, total destruction! Master Naja will avenge me!
Alright, we got pretty good levels. I'll probably try to get one more level in the final dungeon, maybe 2. Just I like to have a 1200 plus HP on the final boss for Logan and Giles. Alright, so Big Giles is going to tell us about this thing called Sword Blaze that can deal with the dragon nausea that we've been getting hints about. So we're off to search for that now. This is a purely plot trigger thing. There's no monsters involved, no bosses. It's just some events. Oh, I'm a little under. I want to have at least 800,000 here. There we go. This is a very long boat ride. Like a minute. It's just, here's a minute-long boat ride. Nothing bad's gonna happen. See? No problems. So now we're in this area, it's like a penal colony, and we're trying to investigate this rumor we've heard about this Sword Blaze. Oops. Penal colony also happens to sell the best armor in the game. So now we have to talk to all the players in the penal colony. There's sort of our informant, there's the priest, and then there's like the two rival bosses. So we're going to kind of deal with their shenanigans here. Yeah, Doomkeep is just a normal town in the middle of... It's not even dangerous. There's no monsters. 10 minutes or so. Maybe 15. Depends how long this takes, I forget exactly. Yeah, my estimate was pretty aggressive. We're probably going to go over it. Oh yeah. Okay, so we find this plot by Scott, the boss on the right, to break into the the ruins that they're digging in from behind with some explosives. And so we uncover that and tell the other boss about it. And he sort of blows us off, but then, he'll eventually show up and save the day. This way. Alright, so we get access to the ruins. We will find a lost tome, as you do. Take it to our archaeologist friend from the last chapter. He'll tell us what's up. And it turns out the candle stands in the temple were the swords the entire time. One last little set of dialogues. Then a very good fanfare message. Last thing we have to do is go visit our baby dragon. Or really, we go get an item that lets us summon the dragon. He's going to become our airship. And let us travel to the last dungeon. What are we going to do? Alright, here we go. Final dungeon. It's a 4-part dungeon. Each part can be kind of warped to on its own once you reach it, so it's pretty easy to backtrack if you have any mistakes happen, which is possible. We'll see what happens here. I will fight some stuff here, because I would still like a little bit of extra leveling. You could stop doing instant death attacks, though. Oh. Yeah, I like the music in here a lot. Oh, hello. So the next section of this dungeon is where you have to be a little careful, because there's one set of monsters in there that I have no way to kill with my current party setup, because they cannot be damaged by weapons at all. You have to have attack magic, which I don't have any of. I could have stopped to pick some up, but it's out of the way, and I prefer to just take my chances on movement and not getting stuck behind a wall or pinned against a fight I have to take. But if that goes wrong, then we might have to warp out and start this section over again. Hopefully it won't, but it's worth mentioning. Alright, guys. That's great. Alright, so the Beast Maze is a dark area that has these somewhat dangerous fights, just because I can't really do anything about them. And it is a narrow area like the tomb, so there is some risk of getting kind of, you know, stuck in a hallway with enemies on both sides of you, something like that. Okay, good. I was worried that this would be that monster. Oh, that's bad. I'm gonna fight this because I don't know what that other one is. We need to have room to get around here. Monsters, please. Okay. Beast Maze is actually pretty long, too. This is the monster I mean. We can't touch those in any way. Oh my. Ooh. Pretty uncooperative monster pack here, but we're just about to the end. Ooh. Let's like this. We're probably about 6 or 7 minutes from the end. We're about halfway through this dungeon. And then the final boss. Okay, that's Beast Maze. Labyrinth also has a common monster that is unkillable with our current setup, these Grim Reapers. But it's a little easier to get around in here. But I'm stuck in this corner, we'll have to go out the other way here. Wow, that's a really bad pattern. Okay, we gotta go all the way down to bait these out. Alright, we're fine. Okay. I'll have to reset this room. Oh, come on, dude. Turn around, please. Bother me. Alright. That's the last dangerous hallway. What are you doing outside of the area? Alright, on to the final zone of the game, the Abode, which is a little less trolly in terms of potential monster blockages that get us stuck. We still can't really handle any of these monsters, but we're not as likely to get into a forced encounter here, so my anxiety goes down a little here, and we're pretty much home free. Hi. Okay, there we go, last screen of the game. Alright, we're all clear. Just time for the boss.
At last we meet. I never dreamed I would see the day when I'd be confronted by humans. Know you that I be as old as time itself? That you're not the first civilization to be crushed by my hands? I thought not. It was an error on my part not to have totally annihilated mankind when I had the chance. I shall not make the same mistake again. Once I eliminate you and obtain the Jewels of Doom, civilization as you know it will no longer exist.
But why destroy us?
Because you are what you are.
And what do you mean by that?
It's best that you do not know. That way, you'll rest easier in your graves.
Alright, in theory this is a really simple fight. We're going to use Rabbit's Foot on Logan and Giles. We're going to cast Leech. We're going to cast Calm, and he's going to die. But we'll see how that goes. Oh, by the way, time is when I kill the boss. Time.
Mankind has always been the poison. For it is man that destroys nature as he multiplies in number. I, on the other hand, am the antidote. It was nature that created me to maintain her delicate balance. When I first brought civilization to its knees, I felt an overwhelming sorrow for what I'd done. In my anguish, I cast the Jewels of Doom to the far corners of Isanaza, so that I would never repeat the deed again. But when I saw mankind once again becoming a threat to nature, I decided it was time to put an end to everything once and for all. However, it would seem that a power much greater than mine has decided that mankind must live. I can only bow to that decision.
What's eating you, Your Highness?
Did we really do the right thing? I can't shake the feeling that nausea was nature's last defense against man. By defeating nausea, we may have sealed the fate of nature.
Ah, but you mustn't forget that nausea yielded to what he claimed was a higher decision. If that is the case, then I think it is safe to assume that the powers that be have left it in our hands to maintain nature's balance.
Maybe this time, nature used nausea to warn us.
Yeah, now all we gotta do is live and let live.
I hate to admit it, but I think our streetwise friend has singled out an ideal solution.
Live and let live. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Hey, you're making me blush.
Well, I didn't want to talk over the ending, but thanks everybody for all the GGs and for watching. I'm glad everyone had a good time. I love this game. I'm glad everyone enjoyed it. Yes, the voice acting is cheesy, but it's like so fun to play. It's just so like satisfying and fast and just really cool. So I'm glad everyone had a good time. So in terms of the stream, the credits are, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes. You can let it play out or cut me off, whatever works. Just let me know. Yeah, we can see the credits. We can go to the Wall of Shame, the cast, which I think is coming up really soon, the voice acting. So I do want to highlight, first of all, Sean Puffy Combs. Second of all, Donald Ghost or Marcus, the best. And even Giles, I think, is good. Like, it's silly, but he brings character to the character. Others, maybe a little less great, but, there's your cast. Yeah, it doesn't say who did all the monster voices, but I assume it's all the same people. Last Alert doesn't even give last names, right? I mean, this is better than Last Alert's voice acting. Like, it's at least, like, it's more chewing the scenery bad than just, like, completely incompetent bad. Well, congratulations, everyone. We slayed the dragon. I'll cut this here. Thanks, everyone, for watching again. Enjoy the rest of the marathon, and have a good night.